tene dada Rinpoche tata di slep mando tene matsu di ndomba tsor so jamro simji tanda dongo ka
Okay. So Rinpoche is not yet here, so we will just go ahead and first start with the opening prayers.
Dalai Damare Chibe Rahan Nobare Chibe Gay Tarbaya Damji Chembe Pardu Jubara Chiba Tamji Jesu Chibe Ma Namka Danyambe Semjen Damji Deva Toys Tandong Ramadu Dongara Tante Nyordu Lana Mi Bara Yanta Bara Zobi Chanchurin Bochi Tobara Cha Idala Domara Chibi Ra No Bara Chibi Gay Sarvaya Tam Jin Jembe Vardu Jubara Jiba Tam Ji Jesu Jib Mai Namka Danyambe Semjen Tam Ji Deva Tam Dungara Tam Chi Nyordu Nanami Yanta Bara Zobe Chanchu Rinpoche Tobara Cha
All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly will I establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood.
Ti ji tu sam ma ji ji par tu lung a yi suan ge ba lai kor ma shi par tu lung a yi suan ge ba lai kor tu de ren ne song di ni ma san ta zam ji par tu lung a yi suan ge ba lai kor.
Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind.
Sanje Judan Soje Chonam Lai Chancho Vardu Dane Japsun Je Edake Jinso Jinbe Zonam Che Andro Lai Pencher Sanje Andro Bara Sho Sanje Judan Soje Chonam Lai Chancho Vardu Dane Japsun Che Dake Jinso Jinbe Zonam Andro Lai Pencher Sanje Andro Bara Sho.
In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings.
Mai Namka Danyambe Semjen Tamji Deva Dang Devi Judan Dembra Chur Je Dungara Dang Dungara Rki Judan Chebara Chur Je Dungara Mibe Deva Dang Meje Vara Chur Je Nyeren Xiaodang Nidang Chebe Danyo La Ne Bara Chur Je.
May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness in the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion.
Sham Chenji Tumi Zam Nen Jen Chapi Dong Sum Yong La Cha Zun Mi Jarba Dur Jin Chang Pan Ji Tian Gong Bu Shab Lan Du Tu Da Du Sam Je Chu Le Mi Jin Je Lo Xue Tu Ye Jian Nian Ge Men Ba Zi Ne Jiang Sim Zhu Zhe Su Do Ba Ra Qin Je Lo.
Unequaled refuge, ornament of the world, your fame pervades the 3,000 worlds. You are the victor Vajradhara without a doubt. I bow at the feet of the Father Jigten Sumgong. Continually I think of no one but you. Compassionate one, grant your blessings. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I may realize the unelaborated nature of mind.
Saye boju joshin me to zhang zhi ra ning ye nian de jian ban de sang jie xin na mei de bu ba ye zhou ku nam da xin tu jiu wa shuo.
The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned with Meru, the supreme mountain, the 4 continents, and the sun and moon. As a Buddha field, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha fields.
Om Guru Deva Jagir Na Manjala Pardin Za Ho Semjian Nam Ji Samba Dang Lo Ye Che Ra Che Da Wa Che Chung Du Mon Ti Ba Ye Chu Jin Ko Lo Ko Tu So Ro.
Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the 2 vehicles and their combination according to the dispositions and likewise the mental capacities of sentient beings.
Tene ta sarong zhu ke pe ba sa ma ba. Tin du. Tene dada zhu ke internet is gang ye ina ga ma ka xie sco se ga ma jie ni se. Tene da gong da de sang da sa chu ma song.
So Rinpoche is having some difficulties with his internet and needs another couple of minutes or so. Sorry for the delay.
Chidang tere ngi ma chu tu ting gong chu su wa tang bo che de chi to sa ma wa sha te za bo si du ten du cha so sa ri. 림보치 폐요에.
요. 다 딕스, 자자 딕스.
당가 또 점로 세디 동산이.
야야. 我们这些研究不懂呢，但是咱这个有个呢，让人就我们说的那早原来没晓得，个人家在年代时候做那个些你些正在还原的，老老偏把钱拿了，些你今天听众在报告，刚到原来的没不拿能把工地拿走的说吧，年代前就是没做些，三节给你用的拉车子。好了，那么面接我们当姐姐老师，姐我老师我这帮那三节送了好多谢谢，这边就叫，也得谢谢他们今年的谢谢，那么来有路单的姐姐，这帮那的面接难当，这话关键这姐三把，他们这个多大姐确定多，满那么个大年别心情，他们姐姐定到，他们家老那面把养他们这边三节经公办人不见，今年想讨把钱，第一些多，也是让人说对给。남바 쉬는데 도저히 되지 셈바로 쳐서 다 가시 예세라는서도 쳐버려본다 잠바로 담자원이 칭사바래 다 되는마 가시 대난이 슝등을 대라되네 단다 subject 아버지 제발 예면 subject 아버지 마 잠바이나 네 chan주지 셈 제빈 주체 네 chan주지 셈 되는 무시 시험하지 되는 전주심지 납자 시험하지 sabje 숨라버진도 되는 전주심지 주되라 난 sabje만 잠바이나 되는 된저니 아까와 직제 대용의 봉와 니제 내연바 된시 숨제 되는 메다바 잠바시 조년바 봉 나제 신이 된시제 독제 되는 접선로 수지 어 sabje 넘버 2 도스진도 오세
And so starting with the teachings on the 37 practices, and as we have said, it begins with words of homage, and then there is a commitment to compose the text, and then there is the main part of the text. So now we are in the main part of the text, and that consists of 3 broader categories. That is first the cause the cause of giving rise to bodhicitta, and secondly, the actual practice of bodhicitta, and then third, the precepts of bodhicitta. So first, for the cause of giving rise to bodhicitta, that is divided in 7 verses. First, the precious human birth. Second, abandoning negative places. Third, relying on isolation. Fourth, reflecting on impermanence. Fifth, abandoning evil companions. Sixth, relying on virtuous friends or spiritual friends. And seventh, going for refuge.
다 subject 등기 나네 텐션이 가와데 다 돌도 잠지 시 가신 쉬스 말이라 봐. 다 subject 니바디 유니에 방와서야 되래. 년기 졸란데서 추더요 라이 졸 시당 메더 bar 랑도 제베 때모 미나지 보유봉한 제세라네 인세 가데 된다 가리 송구요를 세바이나 는 알아서 파마 빈자 니도기 초라야 되는 대샤더베 대샤 차바겠는데 추더요 대샤기 추더요네 되는 대라 차바다 셴바 되네 뭐 랑기 니도다 되네 랑기 니도기 자다 되네 랑기 자 디 초라 되네 셰당 메더 바와 데 베자르와 메라 셰단데 메라 베자네 되네 셰단 슈 첨부게 온데 메더 바와 도시 되네 랑더 제베데 모미나지 파유봉 게세 랑레 예스데자마 되네 빵라게 되네 남샤 수신 제베되네 전신 냠니 되네 제버지베 되네 띠모 머리바 다 데페데 미나라 베자바라와 뭐 미나나시 되네 띠모 머리베 되네 머리 띠모 머리바디 제 투메 되네 다시 제버지베 띠모 띠모테 되네 빵고레 성다 파유 세야데다 조데 단다 대갑로 되네 대기갑라 dāne nyingi chola chapa dāi chola dāngwa. Tā tēntawe simde tēne pāngurē sōngurē. Tē ya ngōnchēn gyawa, chanchu senpa sanje namchē ya nyamsu tos lemba re. Tata chanchu senpa namchē ya tos nyamsu lingā yore. Māu chanchu senpa namchē ya tos nyamsu lemba re juwa re. Tē sōngsa tēne tos chēne nyamne chegurē sōngurē, sōmba re.
So we already spoke about the difficulty of finding a precious human birth last time. And our second is abandoning one's homeland. And so that is the mind of attachment to loved ones wavers like water. The mind of hatred of enemies burns like fire. The mind of ignorance, which forgets what to adopt and what to discard, is greatly obscured. Abandoning one's homeland is the Bodhisattva's practice. And so it is the place where we develop attachment to our parents, family, our friends, and this attachment wavers like water. And the hatred toward our enemies burns like fire. When we get very angry, it is very similar to blazing with fire. And then when we are ignorant, we forget what to do and what not to do. We are obscured by the darkness of ignorance. So that is why we abandon the homeland, so to speak. But actually, the way we should understand this is what really needs to be abandoned here is the attachment to close ones, to near ones, and the hatred, the aversion against the enemies. This is how the Bodhisattvas of the past have practiced. This is how the Bodhisattvas practice in the present now. And this is how the Bodhisattvas will practice in the future.
Subject Sumbata, ne embating go city, Rasunguyore, Tinema. Union Bambi, Nimo Rimji Gypsy, Name maybe Gejungangi Pe, Riba Tambe Chola, Nishe, Embadema, Giselane, Yensum. Union Bambi City, Samada, Karisungors, Tosum Chevetine, no Union. Deja Shedan Tumo Sum Yorva, Tejaberchevi, Tene Tenzo Pangore, some Tepang by Yena, Tene, Nimo Denzoyatine, Rimgima, Chundu, Rogores, or Sunguyasari, Nimo Rimgi Gypsy, Nimo Chundu Rogores, Kanda Tanda Dodo de Tozum Chevetine, Union Balapa, Pangma Tobarab, Chuna Pambache, Temena, Delapata, Ring Tambayena, Tene. Tela tembe chaso nyomomba tene rimgi ma tene chung do roge songre ta chaso nyomomba tenzo ya chung do roba yana tene sem nami ge wang do rogo ma re se sem nami ge wang do ma roba yana tene gejor ngangi tene ya dawa yangwen na shin kon do pegre songre tene te peba yana tene ringba tangbe chola nishi she se on do sana nami mebe gejor ngangi pese ya ti katola pejen shene do de zan tengo yosare dene sime number member tengi zena zichu to nene den gejong angi pegres di pewala tene dene semji nilu dene semji ranshila cheme mago barwa ani di dene chola dene nyeshe chegres roba semji ranshi nilu dene tela ya nyeshe chegres jumze di songza dene maran dene ne emba tengo res onjen gewa namje ya ne emba ten dene 도시니 냠선내니 도슬렘 상게어레스 네 다다 chanchu sempa namjeya dosi nyamsun lengu yores tene mawo nam chanchu sempa namjeya dosi lembar jowari jumze te songza tene ne emba ten goya de tene ke chambores ta de songo yosare.
And then the third verse is to rely on a secluded place. It says, when harmful places are abandoned, disturbing emotions gradually diminish. Without distraction, virtuous endeavors naturally increase. Being clear-minded, definite understanding of the Dharma arises. Resorting to secluded places is the Bodhisattva's practice. So this verse is about abandoning the three poisons of attachment, anger, and ignorance. And in order to avoid these, we seclude ourselves to an isolated place. If we do so, then the afflictive emotions will gradually diminish. So ideally, we completely abandon the 3 poisons, or at least we, in the middle case, we distance ourselves from a place where these afflictive emotions may be triggered. And then if the afflictive emotions, the 3 poisons, diminish, the mind will be without distraction. And if the mind is without distraction, then virtuous practice increases, and like the waxing moon, and we gain certainty in the Dharma. So this actually is a brief kind of allusion to shamatha, calm abiding meditation. So it speaks about being clear-minded and a definite understanding of the Dharma arising. When one abides within an undistracted state of samadhi, then virtue naturally increases, and one will be clear-minded and therefore gain an insight into the nature of phenomena. An understanding of Dharma arises. And so that is why one should resort to secluded places. This is how all the bodhisattvas of the past have practiced. As a result of this, they have attained enlightenment. This is how all the present bodhisattvas practice, and this is how the future bodhisattvas will practice. And therefore, it is important to resort to secluded places. Also.
tanda deka to shene da ladong che denzo dordu zam songdo da de za ma jela deshe da gebo de jela ma ge parjin rogi nyamlen le grwa o te ka to ma de za ge za ma de kasu shu to to chi ma shu ge yin se ba.
So here is a brief reference to shamatha and vipassana, but it will be explained more extensively later on in the context of the 6 paramitas. So at this point, I'm going to explain this in more detail.
Da sabje shiba di midaba chemba se de da sabje shiba di yurin doben zashe so so tel bebe drobe norze shu dulus Lujin Zhenghan, Namshe Zhengbo Bor, Cede Le Gese Lang Yin Song Ba, Ta Yu Rinpo, Soso Yinpo, Rode Nege Tene, Soso Chobo Yine Roa, Ta Denzo Ganga Nimachi, Ngamji Mato Tene, Soso Rogo Re, Song Roa, Hachen Rogo Re, Sejiden Tene. Ne Cede La Be, Beba Chembo Ki Goni, Drobe Tene, Noro Longje, Katsu Yoba Yine Tene, Shibe Namdela, Tene de Yushan Roju Mato, Tinigi is a Kita Yomares. And a petty no those Yomares, the Pecarel Jares, and Aranzo, Drombochi, Drongana Deva, and then Drombo di Drongan de Yukshan and Roju Mato. Tinga Desa Drongan is a Kindra Yomares. Petena Shintin, said they drove it in a Noro Longe, not Tagana in Zashi, the Tazoganga Shiva Nandela, Tene. Yukshan Roju Remato, Tene Nyambu Rosachuna Yomares, Penachuzu Mele Sumbana Jarava, Payin Dujuzera, Meda Jume, Loben Chons, Leben Sampo Tenela, Nishan Rover Chingelos, Chirinangshi Sibe Chunum Gons, Meda Miden Jurshin Gokoya Chola, Nimbo Membe Chajebi, Nimbo Hacho Chedro, Ponga Nimbo Hacho Chagarta so Gomdon Rose, Chizumele Sumbana Jida, those generes.
Thì long thì ngắt ý là nó là long thì
Payi Diji Tenra Rus, Rova. Payi Diji Tenra Ru, Meda Jume Loben Justa, Payi Di Dug Zonga Nashi Re Songrada. Tena Karere Sena Chuzu Mela Tene, Marpa Chuzu Mava Tene, Sheje Tama Tene, Payi Lama Pen Rora, Pen Rode Tene, Tene Marpa Gea Long Tene, Chana Payi Landrova Inea, Tene Amada Tenzun, Tuya Kale Kapu Chesares, Ani Chana. Tene simu diya tene lamsang tuya kale kapu chesa res, ta do chene longden nangbarwa pedu sama. Ani chuzin yene maa chene marba ka chene tene orangi payula pe yongdu sama na tene kangba kashi dongge deya ganga maa ram dewa. Rwa. Ani te do chene ramdebate daga nashin dene amaya chong dene amagi ji ngazo sobo ganga sawala dene rugo sha ganga runi rugo denzo ya japa pa chene de yorwa dene kangba denzo ya dene be ganga ma shingni oda do chene jedu samala dene korangi den gorde sungbarawa chuzun melagi hayende chuzun ro meda jume lobin chons ro dene o meda jume lo da meda ba koran tujula lamsan phungbarwa karesena dene je nyama khangba yonjo ganga ma ramde ba dene nyama ama yonjo de ama chongba dene 담시 dene 담배 주 부대 되냐 dene be 추기 차박에 동네 dene ganga ma je 갈라 간사 ma je 세대 바로 다 된주 통운데 데 미다베 전세대 시부지 숙청부지 종바로와 코라도 오다 된다 도도 잡을 대려와 거의 늦지잖아로 메다 주메 로벤 션스 로벤 상보 되냐라 년신 종바 진제로스다 간다 오도 제네다 텔라 때네데네 주즈메라 학벌도 되는 배 최제야다 되네 대제야 닝리 최라 닝리 시야라 시부지 배 만수지 불마다 마송이 시부지 태바로와 켄스메
So then number 4 is the verse on impermanence. Long associated companions will part from each other. Wealth and possessions obtained with effort will be left behind. Consciousness, the guest, will cast aside the guest house of the body. Letting go of this life is the Bodhisattva's practice. So long associated companions will part from each other. So one day we will go separate ways, and all the wealth and possessions we have accumulated with great effort in this life will be left behind at the time of death. We can't take any of it with us. Just like a guest is leaving a guest house, the guest house can't take the guest house with him. And we can't take our wealth and our loved ones with us at the time of death. There's a song that Milarepa sang about impermanence. He said that one's homeland, like a prison, becomes a teacher on impermanence. So there was this time when Milarepa was with Marpa and intended to go back to his homeland. And then Marpa gave him a prophecy, and he said that even if you go back, it will be difficult for you to meet your mother again. It will also be difficult for you to meet your sister again at this time. And so then, in any way, Milarepa returned to his homeland, and according to this prophecy, he found his old home, the building in ruins. His mother had passed away, and he found a pile of bones and the house crumbling. And that was for him a teaching on impermanence. First there was this splendid house, and now it is gone. First there was his mother, and now she had passed away. And when he saw all in ruins, everything collapsed, a very strong sense of impermanence arose within him, and that became for him an encouragement, and it kindled, it sparked in him the determination to engage in Dharma practice. Yeah, so.
Yeah. Subject about this, drawing about said. 간단론 도숨 폐주시 저상군비 자와 냠주르베 잠단이지 매바 줄시베 종회봉 기세랑네 인성제 얘네 기부 간다 되네 냠도 저와이나 얘네 도숨 대자시다 뜨무숨 되네 도냠바 대단 저와이나 되네 도숨 폐로레스 얘네 도숨데 폐와이나 되네 퇴바 삼바 곰베 자와 강가야 되네 견식을 때라 견식을 해서로 저는 대견 제바점이야 마세 되네 잠다 인진이야 되네 매바 되네 지를 해서 해송자 되네 지부 강 조님바 강단 조니 도순 폐월 주비 지부 대다 지부 대다 되네 다 링자마 대월 해송을 알아서 가르서는 전주심 당부 냠내 지원 공명도 삼말라 아니 저 님바 된소 님바 저바이나 소소 전주게 셈다 땜바 야고지 톱 매바이나 아니 뒤 신왕도 줘야 이게 년가 전부 요르와 저 좀전 대송고 요르 로 지단 심진 빵고레스 야 송고 요 맞다 대야 예와 체마도 나야 대사지 양 캔서부 고야 년가 요르와 되네 대인들 삼마 아니 되네 소소지 전주심 공용도 삼마라 전주심라 땜바 모토 벌라 아니 저 년반 된줄라 대 바타 링자지 반대 우리 송 전주심을 땜바 톱사나 고지 간대지나 내가 있네요 고 전주심 냐매자고 말어 단대 전주심 공도 배야 저 제거를 봐 당 알아서 내 담보 받아 송고 여름마 또 제를 지단 되는 저 년반스냐 심진데 빵고래서 송고 요 말이로 당 알아서 내 담보 받아 되는 대답아 다 링자 내고 그래 송고 대답 다 링자 마대바 이나 아니 대답님도 줘봐이나 되는 소속이 도송 폐그래서 도송도 폐바이나 퇴배 자와야 냠도고래 삼로 출라 삼로 다양하게 삼바야 냠그래 내 추여 고매기 곰기 냠내 지야야 되는 냠그래 송래 된 냠바 마세 되는 잠다 닌지야 유연해야 되는 디마 냠버 지그래 송래 점제 대송사 대답하게 되는 좋은 냠바데 다 링자지 지체는 되고 그래 송으로 알아서 내 담보 봐라 대송고여사래
And then the next verse is the verse on abandoning evil companions. When evil companions are associated with, the three poisons increase. The activities of listening, pondering, and meditation decline, and love and compassion are extinguished. Abandoning evil companions is the Bodhisattva's practice. So when we associate with so-called evil companions, the three poisons increase. And when the three poisons increase, our activities of hearing the Dharma, reflecting on it, and meditating will decline. And also our love and compassion will decline. And therefore it is better to keep those evil companions at a distance. And so this is speaking from the perspective of someone who is still training in cultivating bodhicitta. So someone who has not yet attained stability in bodhicitta. For them, it is better to abandon evil companions because otherwise there is a danger that one might fall under their sway. One might become influenced by the negative companion. So this verse is not saying that we should generally abandon a sentient being. And this is just speaking to beginning practitioners as there is a danger of being influenced by a negative companion. So this is to be practiced until we have attained stability in bodhicitta. Until then, it is better to keep these negative companions at a distance. Of course, once we have attained stability in bodhicitta, then we can be in anyone's company. And in fact, a so-called negative companion then actually becomes a supporting factor in increasing our bodhicitta even more. So this verse is specifically speaking to a beginning practitioner who has not yet attained stability in bodhicitta. And so as long as there is no stability, if we associate with negative companions, then such companionship will only increase our three poisons, and then the activities of Dharma will decline. And so for this reason, and also our love and compassion will decline. And so for this reason, for a beginning practitioner who has not yet attained stability in bodhicitta, it is better to keep those evil or negative companions at a distance. Also.
Oh yeah. That's subject to what? 신이 된지 세대를 와 신이 된지 간신 된다 네버 세주를 연대 양원다다 폐주 신이 담바란지 류회장 제버르즘 계세랑의 인성을 얘네 제외 신이 신이다 된바 강시 된바이나 되네 랑 네버 마 세버르 주신으로 와 얘네 레베차 연대기차 된소 양원 다들 나와 양원 나신데네 공도 폐그래서 와 대답하기 예외신이 된 바이나 착소 뇨몬발로 소바마 세버 지그래 잠닌지 잔주sem로 소바되는 마제바 제버 제거래 제바 권도 페버 제거래서 나와 양원다다 페그레스 신이 담바란게 류베자 대답하기 친이다 된ben gewe 신이디 얘네 랑게 류레자한테는 제버 증거래서 대답 친이다 된ben gewe 신이디 랑게 류레자 제버 증거래 선고여서래.
Then verse number 6 is the reliance on a spiritual master. When sublime spiritual friends are relied upon, one's faults are exhausted and one's qualities increase like the waxing moon. Holding sublime spiritual friends even more dear than one's own body is the Bodhisattva practice. And so when one relies upon a qualified spiritual master, then one's faults will become exhausted and one's virtuous qualities increase like the waxing moon, and they will increase higher and higher as one continues to rely on this qualified master. At the same time, one's faults and afflictive emotions will become exhausted, and for this reason one should rely, or one should cherish, such a spiritual master even more dear than one's own body. So
다 신이 친이다 된바 땡에다 개심보래서 와. 다 도산 되면마다 망고지기 개회 신이 당번에 다져야고 지 마체. 에너지 얘기 지지 요래니 요래라데는 자신부시고 지래삼. 에는 죽치 대대람의 왕롱지 망보지슈 년나 다져 마치체. 제마 고로 망보지 지용고로 와. 에는 고로 망보지 지용도 되네 소소이네 마기바차. 아니 소소라지 냠도야 마게 내내 라신이가 보야지 연구도와 대상 되수대 인도서만 개비신이 다게 친이다 된바 따야지 배 개천보리 나랑 좀 도대기 인도나 가르송어서는 신이 눌러시고 내시와 서로와 연된 학바로 전지 연된 학바로 전지 롱게 되니랍도 또라 마게 된 제외되니 조합방라 대송와 도대기 나네 되니 개비 신이 스니디 신이 눌러왔을 때 소소기 란주기 도숨디만 누구고요. 근데진 거고요. 랍 총바이나 신이 눌러 시와 되는 코란야베 코레네네 타바. 근데진 거고요. 연된 하버든지 롱기 축세 되는 연된베 되네 하버도 개바로 되네 추라도 남제지 시라비요 봐. 되네 추에 송고 주네야 되네 배 롱다 된소나 톡바면 되네 아니 두자 종용도 참아나 되네 독자와 첨본고네 되네 로마 종에 되네 딘데진 거고요. 와 대마도 되네 준노롱저라지 따 되네 준노롱저요냐라지 왕롱치나 되네 준노롱저 메냐라 되네 지라데 마시세다 더산된데 망보지 용되게도 와 대인데 당보네 로마기 라마 딱제셔야 돼. 개 첨보래. 되네 라마기 제야 로마라 되네 딱제셔야 돼. 개 첨보래. 봐. 다 된수 개시 개받은서 다 주되난다. 뒤즈만 보고 놓으러 와가지고 저저 찍스마도 매바 인들 삼아라. 어다디 개 첨보래. 이 뒤다 넘버 본도 되게 학바도 되네 상하기 취성에도 슈도 삼아라. 대회장 되네 개 첨보래. 야고 맞추나 나랑서 뉴도나 줄루바나시 예서거래. 뉴마 요로와 뱀보 나로야 주 땅바이나 야나 주디야 간라 된도로 야나 마 용거마도 로사니마도 요 말와 대답은 인생 거다 상황승인데 되네 노질로빈데 마데니네 딱제제 야고지 마셔바이나 친인다 dem바지 투바이나 되네 주용만 나네 양조반나시야 타바 탐제 진배 살아야 되네 저런도고요. 와디 남아도 냠슬레니. 는 개신이 진이다 된바 매바체 아니 대청바이나 되네 주디 란자마 되용으로 와게 되네 마 이거네마 주디 마 되용으로 뭐도 양 로사요 말아. 고람 노르사르라. 대답을 송고요. 라만 넘버 되는데서마 다서 뒤닝 말에다 알아서 다 만자 망보 용대 근도와 다디 사사 난고야 디베 마시 개첨보래. 라만 첨보다 밍 첨보다 되는 주도 첨보다 코로 첨보다 대 샵지 첨보 망보 연조 때 딘데 제보절라 때 되네 티 연대 시부지 요르다 딜라 누가 냠네 냠다 또바 시부지 요르 삼데네 딱제 야보 마신 죽칭바이나 되네 쳔딜라야 퐁 세치마라야 퐁으로바 되네 데 덴제 총으로 그래서바 되네 계획신이 되네 덴지 야보지 마중 덴제 초바이나 되네 쳔디 제보라 종 말이로 세람네 세람 되네 뭐 되네 예서 코로네네 되네 다 도고 말 대송가 되네 어데 딱제 지야 돼 마시 개첨보래 당보 당시 제도야 되는 당보 조건라부체 아니 봐서 롤링지 그래. 최고 도는 봐서 저와 전례지 롤링지. 아니 뒤에서지 소소하고 그래. 라만데라 롭종 한대는데로 어때 하고 그래. 저와 전례지나 되네. 하고 용 그래. 반종은 지고 같이 사본대로 아니 도시 되는 지금 전에 되는 냠령 거든서 되는 간지 슈그슈그시 제요나는 라만데게 되네. 누가 냠령 간대야 나한테로 간대야 되때 간산지는 소소기 되네 하고 도그래로 아니 신이 라만데다 되는 지금도 삼나 되네 이제 템부 지니에서나 되네 된 투바이나 되네 소소 디시니가라 되네 야고 연구로 봐 단데 이 강가에 대해서 삽사 남고야 돼 개천부도
So it's really quite important that we rely on a qualified spiritual master. Often it happens nowadays, especially that people don't investigate the spiritual teacher properly in the beginning. So they just follow someone because they hear one or two things about them, and then they think that this Lama is like so special. And then they receive empowerments, transmissions, and teachings from this teacher without ever really having investigated, analyzed this teacher. And then it can happen that this teacher will lead one astray. And then you will be unhappy, and you will not develop any experience or realization from this relationship. And that only leads to the downfall of yourself and also the other. So therefore, it's really important to analyze a spiritual teacher and really find the qualified teacher. In the text called "The Ornament of," the Sutra Lankara, it says that one should rely on a spiritual friend whose disposition is peaceful and subdued. So that is, his three poisons are subdued, and his qualities are as large as a mountain, and his experience and realization in the Dharma is unwavering. So one should follow such a spiritual teacher, and that this teacher should look after the disciple with great love, meaning that the guru should not just give empowerments and teachings and transmissions to those who are really wealthy, the rich ones, but he would also look after those who are not wealthy and have nothing to offer. And often that happens nowadays, that some spiritual masters really are after those disciples with a lot of wealth, and then they don't really pay any attention to those who are not so wealthy. So it's really important for a disciple to analyze the guru, and also conversely, it is important for the guru to examine the disciple. So we don't have so much time, but it is quite an important point. And especially in the practice of the Vajrayana, the secret mantra, it is said that following the secret mantra teachings or a Vajrayana master is just like being a snake that is stuck in a bamboo reed. When a snake is stuck in a bamboo reed, it can either go up or it can go down, but there's only those two ways. There is no other way for the snake to go. So if one meets a Vajra master of the Vajrayana, the secret mantra, and one follows this master without having analyzed that master first in the beginning, then one becomes like this snake going down on the bottom. But if you actually do encounter an authentic master, and you have analyzed him and you follow this guru, then you are a snake that goes and leaves the bamboo reeds through its upper opening. So that will lead to the attainment of enlightenment. And so if you are someone who does not find a qualified spiritual master, just relies on someone without even analyzing them, for example, because they are very famous or they are wealthy and so on, then you are a snake going down the lower opening. And this is a very it's really prevalent now in the degenerate age. And it's something we have to be really careful about, especially in these days. Often we kind of are led astray by a big name, like a Lama has a big title or a big name or a big retinue and wealth and so forth, a great following. And so then we think that, oh, this must be a great master, or this must be someone with great qualities, with higher realization and experience. And then we just don't examine that teacher at all. We just follow them. And if that's the wrong teacher, then that will lead to the downfall, our downfall in this life and in future lives. And also kind of the auspicious interdependence becomes stirred up, becomes disturbed. And when we disturb auspicious interdependence, then we will be unhappy in this life, and in future lifetimes, from lifetime to lifetime, we will find no liberation from samsara. So therefore, it's really important to analyze the spiritual master in the beginning. So when you first associate with the spiritual master, really discuss the Dharma with them and ask them questions. And in this way, you will find out about their learning, their qualities. And then as you associate more and more with them, you become closer with them. And as you keep asking questions, you will find out about that Lama's practice. Then you will begin to understand that the level of practice of this guru. And so then finally, in the end, you can make up your mind and think that this is a qualified guru I can rely on. And this is someone I can put my trust into. And then if you rely on such a guru, you will turn out well in this life and in future lives. So it is very important to be very careful about that. That's all.
Oh, that in the Samala, the Sanjay Jomden, the rank song or Genonda, Canon, Sergio Davis Sessions, Labortala, my gas, long chai, which means Sanjay Jomden, the rank songs. I did turn out the career Savana. Ani Johnzo song, what then Sanjay Horan Zachambores. Kobe Rigi Zachambores, Gabuki series, Kogi Chedi Yan, Becarisumba de Tagana, Sija Mache, Somorova, Penangaranzo Seri, Sermiki Yaku Yore Lava Sangi, Yicha, Sersing the Nangamoina, the Tosanashi, Chiche Yomaro, Sering Omai, Zumai, Ser Tup, Tenen Dolan, Tenen Dar Regi Chi, or Tosene, or then said in Oma Kandere, the Jubja said the Yagdum Kandere. Oh, those in the Daja. Oh, 10 Nashin, 10 Sanjay Jumden de Garreta, the Zachimores Lamsa, Ija Masha Sore. Sanjay Jumden de Koran, Tasha Chia Sore, the Chalazola, Pembachi Duna, Tenenti Yamsune Sore, Pembachi Menduna, Tenenti Shasho Sore, or Sanjay Jumden de Tasha Chia Song Sanada, Maranzo Shambada, Yerevata or Shea or Maravata, they in the Samala Tenet. Takje chegoya de be mazi ke chambores de madu chelan to sa mangbu chigya da no tene ambone ta che ma che tene lama ge ya da chönye loma cha sa resta ni be arishe wa yene tene nyangor sangalo ngarazo wange jugde yorwa so jidar ka jaba tena thamjen da gi khise yorwa no te inde sama no da dinde kene ma shenye la tene lama de takje chegoya de be mazi ke chambore da tanda ngi dene ma ya Geselani should the Mareki Pensem Jupunelani Shuguyamado, young Anzolama, the Loma in Javachi, and the Shining in Denamaj, or the Chinja Chicken Mestang around the Churro, the Shin of Chero Paso, rolling several house of Tangarechi Ma, this machine, there were the Charanzola magic. share share sonda chirwa deshe ja gosha ja sonda chama pas so so o dinde kulon da dinde ji cheni ma de chego yo ma de ya jingana so lalo gi ji cheni dinde cheni ma ma tanda ne chigu me se wa ni choran zo ngone na ya laman de shi shang go ya khe yo ma re se
The Buddha himself had said, when he spoke to his monks, he said, you should analyze my teachings well, just like you would analyze a raw piece of gold. You would cut it and burn it and polish it and see what it is about. Similarly, you should not believe what I say just because the Buddha said so, but just like examining a piece of gold, you should examine what I say. So you should not just trust in the teachings of the Buddha, you can analyze those teachings, and the Buddha himself had said that. Just like examining a piece of gold. For example, it's possible that a piece of gold is not really gold, it's something else. It could be a fake piece of gold. And in order to find out if it's real or not, you cut it, you polish it, and you burn it, and so forth. And the same we should do with the Buddha's teachings. So the Buddha himself had said that. The Buddha said, do not just think that, oh, because the Buddha said so, it must be very precious. You should really analyze it before you trust in the teachings. And then if you find that the teachings are beneficial to you, then practice them. But if they are of no use to you, then you can also let them be. You don't have to practice them. But this is what the Buddha himself had said. And obviously, if we even have to analyze the Buddha himself, then obviously we have to analyze any other teacher as well. It goes without saying. So it's extremely important to examine the spiritual teacher. If we don't examine them and we just follow them and receive teachings from them, then later that guru might say, oh, now you have already become my disciple, so now you have to do whatever I say. Just like it is said in the end of an empowerment, when we take the Samaya, we say, Master, I will do all that you command. So that is why it's really important to analyze, to examine this teacher beforehand. And so now, when I'm giving you these teachings on the 37 Bodhisattva practices, it also has to be said that I'm just giving you these teachings with good motivation, not a guru giving a teaching to a disciple, but more seeing you as my Dharma friends, having a Dharma discussion and a Dharma exchange with you, just sharing some words of Dharma with you. So my motivation is not that we share this relationship between master and disciple. This is not how I'm giving this explanation to you. And you do not have to see me as a Lama, as your guru at all. Lasso.
다 잠불링 되나 뜸바 망보 예베 장 나나 나라서 남베 뜸바디 믹스기 체 캐시 돼요. 다 공개 대송샤로 다 대답부 뜸바 나라서 심바 뜸바 속에야 다 대답부 송요 말이로 와 나라 딱지 체쇼 니 쳐라 딱지 체쇼 니 쳐디 랭게도나 대냠소라 세로 마동아 자침보리 니 까레세 지세다 산제 좀 되는 그 송요 말와 그런데 송으로와 다시 제시다 대답부터 봐 수요 말다 알아서 남바 냐지를 봐 그거 데려면 신반다고는 그런 덤바게 가 송바 다가라나다 이제 전로로 봐 대라 다시 제야요 말이 대라라 뒤치야 주네요 말로 봐 당알아서 남배 덤바데 된 제도 바고 계주직 다 되어다 지난 계주 망부 예반하니 뭐 제도 바be 계주직 다 젠다다 제 계주직 다 되어래 대캔반 난 거에 계셔보래
That's actually so that's actually a really special feature of the Buddhist teachings. There are many different teachers or religions in the world, but that's really a very unique quality of the Buddhist teachings. The Buddha himself said that. The Buddha said, you have to analyze me, you have to examine me. nobody else actually says that. No other teacher in any other religion would say that it's okay to analyze, that you in fact are encouraged to analyze the teacher. The Buddha never said that I'm so precious, my words are so important, you just have to do whatever I say. The Buddha said you have to analyze me. And that's really, we probably can say that only in the Buddhist religion the case. In any other religion, you should basically trust what they say, and that is without any analysis. So that's really a very special, really unparalleled feature of the Buddhist teachings. So it's very important to recognize that too. Yes, sir.
that is the same summary chose chigraba. Sonamde tamje sebanye tonanye be dana pamje de
Jiga Nanje Panon Choba, Sibian Sulin Jova, Jovara, Yo, Chancho, Sumcho, Ramboch, Maji Banam, Jejoro, Jewa, Nyamba, Miva, Yang, Kone, Kondo, Pervara, Yo, Xieja Gunze, Gunjian, Chuje, Nila, Wantum, Jigon, Gunjian Barje, Demba, Zinti, Barje, to some Gombe, and Zijoro, Roje. Oh, then the Tujichi. Yeah, Tujichi, Sama.
so just na so to che.
Thank you, everyone.
That's it.